In the flyweight division at UFC Vegas 75, you got Jimmy Flick, the American, coming in at 16-6, taking on the Brazilian, Alessandro Costa, who comes in at 12-3. Now, Jimmy Flick is 3 inches taller at 5'7". Age shouldn't be a factor. They're both entering the prime of their career. Jimmy Flick has a 1-inch reach advantage, 68-67. Both guys fight right-handed. Now, in terms of activity, you got to lean towards Costa. Just a little bit, 2.3 significant strikes per minute. Not impressive at all. Jimmy Flick, 1.9 per minute. But in terms of takedowns, at least so far, Jimmy Flick lands like 2 takedowns on average over the course of 3 rounds. Not much to speak of there for Costa. Jimmy Flick, no takedown defense percentage just yet. He hasn't had to defend any. Costa, on the other hand, 87% takedown defense. So that's going to minimize the takedowns. Maybe he gives up 1. The question is, can he win the other 2 rounds if he gets control for a significant amount of time in one of those rounds? That's the big question here in this prediction. Now, Jimmy Flick, 1-3, or 1-2 in his last 3 fights. He won at the Contender Series by submission. Then came in and beat Cody Durden. Impressive win by submission, first round. He then took on Charles Johnson, a fairly good fighter, and got KO'd in the first round. So that stopped the run pretty quickly. Now, Costa lost to Amir Albazi, who we know is a pretty darn good fighter, by 3rd round KO. He did win at the Contender Series by split decision. So, more fights for both of these two would make this prediction much easier. But I'm going to lean with Alessandro Costa because he's got superb takedown defense. Again, 87%. And he leads in significant strikes per minute, although it's very close. Neither guy is very active. So if this fight doesn't go to the ground, I think many people expect it to, despite the takedown defense from Costa. But if this fight doesn't go to the ground, you got to expect more significant strikes than just 2 per minute on average. I mean, that would be like 10-8 in each round. Wouldn't be much activity. So if one guy is going to outstrike the other, and that's the way this thing's going to go, we're going to lean with the Brazilian in Alessandro Costa to outstrike Jimmy Flick. He's also got to defend the takedowns. Notice I mentioned that 3 times, how that's going to be the key to the prediction. Alessandro Costa, in my opinion, will defend probably 4 out of 5, 5 out of 6 takedowns. He's going to give up 1, but he's going to win the other 2 rounds in terms of the activity, in terms of significant strikes, in terms of kicking, things of that nature. He'll land more strikes to get the win, barely. Could be a very close, slow-paced, somewhat boring fight, but none of that matters. Costa wins, in my opinion, to move to 13-3, flyweight division, UFC Vegas 75.